Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice today. Gotta say it's quite handsome and brilliant. Tease me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you're gonna reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase Q4. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, you have Tesla stock jumping 20% plus thanks to their sales come in, really bucking the curve, so to say, as other EV sales crumble. Last week we talked about how, what was it, Mercedes, their EV sales stumbled by 40% for some of them, and Porsche, which it's an abomination in and of itself to have an EV. I mean, as we know, Porsche should all be stick shifts with a good old, manual transmission, a gas engine. You cannot beat that combo. Although Ferdinand Porsche did experiment with electric cars way back in the day, but that's no topic from that time. But in all seriousness, Porsche sales, their EV sales are down by 50%, and most other manufacturers, they're suffering about the same. Ford lost $132,000 per EV sold Q3. So overall, the industry is not good. But there is more competition, and yet Tesla still doing good. Their sales are up, and the stock, again, not financial advice, always 2020 when it comes to investing, it jumped 20.92%. No, rather, 21.92% last week. Now, go ahead and I'll pull that stock ticker up, which, geez Louise, single day went up by $46.86 per share, went up to $260.48. And again, one of the most impressive stock, in terms of performance of a publicly traded company, has to be one of the best since the dawn of time. I think they IPO'd at $16 or $70 per share. And they split the stock twice throughout the years. Elon is the outlier of outliers, to say the least. Now, going to the statistical data, thanks to Yahoo Finance, the OG search engine from way back in the day, they say, quote, Tesla stock soars for the best day since 2013 as investors cheer Q3 earnings report. Now, specifically, thankful to Pross, who is a writer over there. Get a little stock ticker for you as I read the actual substance of the article right here. They say, quote, investors cheered beats on adjusted earnings per share and higher gross margins, in addition to the news that Tesla's cheaper electric vehicle is on track for production next year. As I say, hold, stop. Is it though? Again, I'm very optimistic overall on Tesla's capabilities and Elon's capabilities, but they've had this idea, which it is important in terms of mass market saturation and increasing the sales of the company, because again, they started off brilliantly as an enthusiast company with the Roadster, with a very high price, and they got the sedan, which is still six figures, but there's some more higher price points. The cheaper, it is so hard to get a cheap car that's an EV. The only thing that I've seen successfully in the mass market would be the Nissan Leaf, which was a glorified golf cart. But again, some people did appreciate it, all 18 of them. I'm only partially jesting. Now, they continue to say, quote, CEO Elon Musk said on an earnings call that the Tesla volume, they grew, could be 20-30% next year. Tesla shares end up actually 22%, adding tens of billions of dollars to the company market valuation. Again, the best since 2013. Now, again, going to the revenue, which is a pretty penny. I should clarify, a pretty vintage penny, which is 99.99% copper. These days, it's actually 99.99% zinc and simply copper plated. Perhaps a metaphor for the U.S. economy and our money in general. I only partially digress. And they say, quote, Tesla reported revenue of $25.18 billion, which was lower than the $25.4 billion expected per Bloomberg consensus, but higher than the $25.05 it recorded in Q2, and also topped, A+ for good verbiage, the $23.4 billion Tesla reported a year ago. Tesla reported adjusted earnings per share of 72 cents per share versus the expected 60 cents per share on an adjusted net income of $2.5 billion and that's pretty penny. Free cash flow of $2.9 billion. The closely watched gross revenue margin came in at 19.8, much higher than 16.8%, which, again, that is very impressive. Now, granted, some luxury cars, like you get to Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, those have a lot more profit than the average car. Now, the average vehicle, when you're talking about like mass production vehicles like General Motors, Volkswagen, Ford Motor Company, those, if they get 10%, they're happy as hell. That's another astonishing thing. Not only did Elon build a successful EV company, it's one of the most profitable ones out there, if not the most profitable one out there. So, granted, you know me, everything I own will always have 3 pedals, also known as a manual transmission and a gas engine. I know I'm an old soul in that regard, but shoot, I still respect Elon for this this astronomical success. Now, they continue to say, quote, we delivered strong results in Q2 with growth in vehicle deliveries, both sequentially and year on year. resulting in a record third quarter volumes. Again, this is from the company's earnings deck. They continue to say, quote, preparations remain underway for our offering of new vehicles, including more affordable vehicles, which we will begin launching in the first half of 2025, which I'd be pretty impressed. Let's actually go to the sales figures. You see we're just like a good old bar graph there. Let's see here. Just straight to the moon. Now they delivered geez Louise, 462,890 vehicles in Q3, up 6.4% quarter over quarter, which I think is a better barometer. No, don't get me wrong, revenue, profitability, those are vitally important. But I mean, with hyperinflation, I would expect partially the revenue to go up in that regard just because of the ineptitude of the US government, left and right, dollars are worth less and less every darn year. So I do expect revenue that goes up. But to me, one of the biggest parameters or measurements for car success in terms of their metric of a successful automotive company would be, the number of units being moved. And again, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It may very well assist with my speaking ineptitudes. I know sometimes I speak way too fast. My first show, believe it or not, I basically had no subscribers and I spoke terribly. I stumbled over my words left and right. Shoot, probably just as awkward as Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely get more subscribers, my speaking has improved. Granted, you might argue it's just a modicum improvement. I still sometimes speak way too fast, but an improvement nevertheless. So you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it as I continue to strive to make the show better and better every day. Now, going back to me attempting to speak, they also continue saying, quote, the number also came in ahead of the 435,059 EVs that the company delivered a year ago. However, Wall Street expected Tesla to deliver close to 463,897, according to Bloomberg. They also know that the refreshed Model 3 ramp continued successfully in Q3 with higher total production and lower cost of goods sold quarter over quarter, which is even better. Now, they also know that the Cybertruck production increased sequentially and achieved a profit, really a positive growth margin for the first time. That's really impressive. That thing hasn't been out for too long. And again, when it comes to setting up new vehicles, just the machinery alone and the infrastructure to actually assemble it, not just the research and development, coming with the software and everything like that. I mean, to actually get to profitability for a vehicle, it usually takes some time. And some companies never do. the Mini Cooper, before BMW took it over or bought it out from the Brits. I'll go to their revenue over here. Skyrocketing up there. Now they continue to say, quote, Tesla says it expects vehicle deliveries to achieve a slight growth in 2024. CEO Elon Musk added during the conference call that 20 to 30% growth next year is possible, though he couched it as a best guess. Now, of course, there's some hype saying, hey, the robotaxi is going to come. That's going to change the world, which it might. Not just, actually, here you can see one of those funny looking things. Not only the, actually technology coming to hit the streets, but I do wonder, some people do adopt technology pretty quickly. What is going to be the consumer preference? Are people going to will they like the idea and will they adopt the idea of the robotaxis? I mean, a lot of people joke that, who would get into a stranger's car? And yet Uber is now a multi-billion-dollar companies, publicly traded, and they're ginormous. So, pretty great news for Tesla, especially in this economy, because, again, auto sales, Stellantis, which, again, used to be Chrysler, with now the new parent company, their profits are down 50%. Their sales, I think, are down 42%. Some automotive companies are crumbling. One of the biggest things that's hurting them is the interest rates, which, again, when you're buying one of the most expensive purchases in your life, like a car, that interest rate adds up greatly in aggregate and it's quite depressing if you want to go look at, could I buy a new house? What's the interest rate compared to the 1% used to be versus 7%? Oh, dear God. Yeah, it's someday. I keep telling myself I'll go down that road, hopefully. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can still keep up this momentum Q4. Traditionally, businesses do a lot of the revenue in Q4. They call it Black Friday because, on the ledger, back when they actually used to have physical ledgers, not just using QuickBooks and SAP and all this kind of stuff. It used to be red was negative, red ink, and then black was positive. That's why they used to call it back in black. I assume AC/DC were just very enthusiastic accountants. I'm pretty sure that's a real story. But let me know, do you think Tesla can maintain this momentum Q4 going into 2025? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.